Jeroen, you said a beautiful thing that life is sometimes about the improvisation. Can you maybe start with that?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
What is for you the improvisation? When maybe you can say something more about this life and improvisation.
Yeah, well, there are 4 layers under the improvisation. I think when you expect that life is just easy and you can plan it, then it's too hard. You have to make fun. You have to make um, curiosity about what is coming on, and be playful of that. So I think improvisation is really important for getting well in your life and not be too much in a structure. Just look what's coming up and believe in yourself as a person who has the abilities to respond on your own way. And yeah, then life is much easier than you plan everything and think the whole stuff must go on like that.
Mm-hmm. So basically, for the average man, it's a kind of delightful idea to improvise in life and work with whatever the life bring you. But it also can be a little bit dangerous. And
well, one of the basic rules about improvisation is say yes to what is coming up. And if you can do that in life, even if it's a little bit hard or it's painful, but you can accept and say yes to what's coming up to you, most of the time is a little lesson for you, and you can do it with a curiosity. Well, I think it makes life a lot of fun.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And about the improvisation in working with as a therapist or as a coach or trainer, how does it look like in your opinion? Because it's a like a improvisation can be very powerful tool. I can hear that. So how we can apply that for the work with people?
Well, when I work with people or with patients or with coaches, you can most of the time we do it with words. But pictures and little plays are more powerful in for the people themselves. So when I come out of my chair and make a little statue of the problem, of how the patients will go along with this problem, that statue with a little smile or with a little funny face or with some movements, that's really doing good in the brain.
Yeah.
So that's why I use it a lot.
So it's like thanks to this making a picture with our body, with our voice. Okay, so it's like expressing what we hear from the coachee or the client, basically.
Yes, the picture is making more impressing for the client than just words. My experience is when I make a picture of the problem, of how the client will go on along with the problem, and I make this funny picture of it. He has to laugh, and it's really a block in his mind. It brings something up in his mind, and always when he is in the same situation with the problem, the picture will come up, and he thinks.
I'm sorry that I interrupt you, but it came to my mind that it's a little bit like against the seriousness and analytical. It's like a more the improvisation invite the playfulness, so brain can figure out in the different way of the solutions, or thanks to this playfulness, thanks to this picture.
I think the solution will come nearby because you make this picture, or you make this little improvisation about how the client will go along with this problem, or how he wants to solve the problem. And when you get it a little bit out and you make a little film or a little picture, then the client will laugh about his own way of going along with this problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it requires a lot of creativity. It's like
But you can learn it, and that's why I come to Poland. I really want to learn the therapist and the coaches to come out of the chair and make this and have fun and make this pictures, even if the problem is really serious. Yeah.
What about the provocative approach? Because it's also in the title of your workshop, the Inheritance of Frank Farrelly.
Yeah.
Can you say something more about that?
Because what I do is I use the Farrelly factors, the way the interventions of Farrelly in the sessions, and I combine it with some improvisation. That's the way. So of course I will use language and words to try to make some provocations to the client, but when there is a little moment in my brain and I see something what I can play off, I will do. Just with a twinkle in the eye, with a lot of warmth, but also I want to get out of comfort zone and look in a mirror, and I like a laughing mirror, right? So that's what I do. I combine the elements of the provocative way of therapy or coaching with the improvisation.
Okay, so what is the common, what improvisation and provocative approach have in common?
Now, well, when I studied provocative therapy in Holland, and we have to do this exam. We have to do an investigation and look about. And I was with a little group of people, and what we did was combine the provocative therapist and the improvisation teacher, and 80% of what the improvisation or the provocative therapist needs to do in the session is the same. About 70 to 80% we find out that's the same thing. Also, when you want to improvise, you need to be open, you need to be warm, you need to be friendly, and that's what a provocative therapist also need. You have to you dare out to speak what you want. You don't hesitate. But you do what the words is in your mind, or the picture in your mind. So it's a lot of the same way to do. So that's really nice, I think.
And also, it's like in your opinion, what makes a great a coach or therapist or trainer that the provocative approach, that's using a provocative approach, but also he's combining with the improvisation. Is there any factors that makes a great coach therapist in your opinion?
I think that when I give in Holland, I do some summer schools and I give courses. And I asked some teachers, provocative teachers, to join me. And when they are also an improvisation teacher, it is much easier. I think one of the skills of an improvisation teacher or an actor or something like that has this little. How do I say it to you? Well, I think they are farther and easier to go on the provocative way when you are also are familiar with the improvisation skills. Is it a little bit answering your question or what?
Yes, a little bit. Yes, not
not totally.
Full, but you know, I have some kind of idea that so basically, it's a very helpful to know, but also I think it's requires a lot of courage that to use the provocative approach, but also, as I can hear, to use the improvisation.
Yeah.
So it's a very developing.
Yeah, it's vulnerable. It is vulnerable, but I think when you dare to provocative, it's not only about courage, because when you do it with a warm heart, the client will recognize some of the experience in the past, and then they hook on it, and then they think, okay, this coach is like my dad or like my good friend. Or I think provocative is about having a good conversation with a good friend who laughing you at you about the problems and so on, and dare to speak loud about everything what's happening between the two friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important to yeah, maybe you have some courage to, when you want to improvise, there is nothing, you have the courage to rely on yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
I think when we are at ease and have the skills to lay on your own talent, then and you just do it, then there is coming beautiful things out.
And sometimes this, do you agree that sometimes this talent can be discovered like during the workshop? So so I can see and I can try and I can experience my own ability to improvise, to be in the contact with the people in the other way, just not just in the words, but also in this improvised way.
Mm-hmm. And what's the question?
Well, right now I don't know because I forget.
Oh, okay. No,
Give me a second, but yeah, but I do have a bunch of questions. So
good.
and
Beautiful.
one of them was, how do you remember your first approach to provocative approach? So, and why did you decide to go this way of working with people?
Well, I was an actor. I did improvisations, playing in theaters and so on, and I was also a social worker.
Okay.
But I really work really serious and ask people and what's the problem and so on. And I read this book of Jaap and Jeffrey, Jaap Hollander, you know, maybe, and Jeffrey. And one of the pages in the book was making a sentence about comparing something like, that's why provocative coaching is a lot of like improvising. And I thought, well, if there is a way of doing this beautiful work, coaching and therapist, like the improvisations I like most in theater, then that's something for me. So I go to this course, and well, I think it was just the morning, and I thought, I'm coming home. There is a name for what I want to do. Beautiful, beautiful. So I never let it go anyway. I think it's a beautiful way to help people, to love with people, to make them in some activities, not just to be a victim of the problem, but get along with it and go on with your life. I think it's a beautiful way to work provocative. And so that was the first time I did this course, and I was hooked on.
And you mentioned that you are an actor, and also you are the expert in this provocative therapy and also in improvisation. And I heard that you are doing the therapeutic cabaret.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
It's fascinating. Can you say something more about that?
Yeah, well, we call it theater college. So we do some provocative scenes about subjects who will be very healthy. But we did some about relationships, a theater program about relationships, and we use the provocative way of looking and making scenes and do something in the theater, so people who watch it have to laugh about their own pain in the relationship. Or we make one about happiness and about our brain, and then we try to make it like this, that people who watch it or sit in this theater, just the whole time they look in a laughing mirror and they think, oh yeah, oh, that's me, oh that's me. Yeah. And I hope that when you see those theaters plays, that people think, okay, do I want this or can I change?
Okay.
Well, that's what we do. And we have 3 different theater colleges now. One about the relationship, one about the brain and the happiness, one about how to talk when it is very difficult. And now we're making a new one about elderness, how it will be to be an older people or elder man or woman, and how can we be when we are come of age, playful and active and full of energy. Well, that's what we do now.
So it's very fascinating. So it's like from the our audience, we are experiencing something that we have in common with what we see on this stage.
Yeah. Well, in Holland, it's also I think we are the only one who make this on this way, and we have a lot of fun, and we go all over the country, and we do it a lot of in companies also, on schools, so yeah, it's beautiful to do. Yeah.
Okay, so I can see information that we have just a couple minutes left. So maybe if I can ask you also about the Smart workshop that you will have in Poland. What we can expect? What can you say something more about this workshop?
Yeah, well, it will be a lot of fun, because what I want to do is the provocative interventions. I try to make them connected with the improvisation. So the people who will join the workshop, I learn them to improvise and use it when you are doing this provocative coaching. That's the whole point. And there are a lot of different ways to learn that, and a lot of exercise and funny and beautiful things to learn. And when you practice it every day, you get a little bit better, and you dare to come out of your chair and make these statues or pictures or films about, well, of the problem, or how the client will go along with the problem, or how he go along with the solutions. So it's a combining and combination of improvisation and provocative working. Because on the end of the 3 days, I hope people will be they have this development, they grow into, well, to go out of the chair, make fun, make statues, and make little film or acting a little bit, so the client will look at this thing and get a change or get the exception. Okay, there's nothing to do with it, but I will be a nice guy and I want to live on happily after all.
Will you do? Will you do any? I'm sorry. Will you do any demonstration work on the stage?
Yeah, I really like to do demonstration. The last time I was in Poland was in 2016, I believe. I did every day some sessions. I think 3 or 2, 3, 4 a day, and I really like to do it. It's one of the best things. You have to see it. I learn a lot to see, to Jaap and to Jeffrey and to other provocative therapists. And that's beautiful. So yeah, please, I want to demonstrate it a lot. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for the because I don't know if we do have time or no. Jeroen, thank you very much for that. You agreed to talk about your work, about your experience, about the workshop. Thank you for the kindness and understanding with
Thank
those
you.
troubleshoot technologies.
Yeah, no problem.